Jackie from Bronx Baubles, bringing you another episode, and this one is a continuation of my popular museum pieces. This is the third episode, and I actually have enough museum pieces to create a fourth. So stay tuned for the fourth one, but this one is number 3. And this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite museum pieces. I'm so excited that I'm able to collect some of these pieces, and I get them from all over, but mostly from thrift stores and from Poshmark and flea markets, and so that's where I get most of these jewelry from. So let's get started without further ado. One of the first pieces I want to show you is from the Museum of Modern Art. I love this piece because of the colors. Look at all these amazing colors and shapes. It's so retro, it's so modern. All the colors from the 1960s, 1950s. It's just reminiscent of a bygone era, sort of Mad Men-ish, mid-century. This necklace is made of plastic and string, and it has these crazy shapes and colors. I just think this is a really cool necklace. Holy rock on a t-shirt. I just love the colors, and it's really a fabulous piece. I actually got this piece from the catalog. It's from Corey Moranis, and I think this is such a fun, whimsical piece. I love lucite, and in fact, I have enough pieces to do a video exclusively on lucite, which I'm going to be doing. This piece right here is just a fabulous pipe or a pole of lucite that's bent into the shape of a bangle. And this bracelet here is a really big bangle, so it'll fit just about anybody's hand. And one of the challenges people have about bangles is my hand here is a little on the thick side, so to get pieces over it is really challenging, and this one has no problem getting over it. I just think that this is a piece that's modern, it's retro, all combined into one, and I think it's a fabulous piece. Another motif that I'm sort of obsessed with is the Fabergé eggs. What I love about the Fabergé eggs is that it's just, first of all, stunning. The Fabergé eggs were made for the Tsar and his family of Russia, and I did a video with Joan Rivers' collection of the Fabergé eggs, but these are from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And so these are not Joan Rivers. But what I love the most about these pieces is I like the little whimsy that I add to it. I found these gorgeous little hearts, and I purchased a bunch of them, and I've given them away, and I put them in lockets, but I also think it fits perfectly in this little egg. And I actually purchased this at the thrift store. Here is another egg, and these are the same exact eggs, just different colors. And I've seen these in like a chartreuse green, I've seen them in blue, I've seen them in black. So these eggs come in various different colors, and so you can start a collection of just collecting these eggs in these different colors, and I just think they're beautiful. What I love the most about them is that they have this goulash, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, engine turned enamel. So they put the design on the metal first, and then they layer it with some enamel, and it gives it that very unique sort of design where you can almost see through the enamel onto the design that's on the metal. It's just really beautiful. I've always loved these pieces. And look inside, look what I put. I put this little rubber ducky. This is, again, is from the Museum of Modern Art. And these has Fabergé eggs with totally all different motifs. I just think that they're really pretty. And I actually snagged this for $9.95 at the thrift store about a year ago. Really good find. And these pieces go for a lot of money, and so don't forget to look out for these when you're out there. They're just fabulous museum pieces. Another unique museum find is this bracelet. And what I really love about this bracelet is that it's made with soda tabs. When you pull the soda open, the tab on the top, that's what this looks like. And I just love the idea that these countries who are impoverished will go out into the landfills and find these materials, and they make beautiful art with these materials, and they make their money that way. And so in this case, they found these bottle tabs, and they were able to make this beautiful, beautiful bracelets. And along the lines with this bracelets, and I showed this on my other museum video, this one is made with soda tin. So they took a Coca-Cola, which no one could deny what brand this is. It's one of the most recognized brands in the world. It's the Coca-Cola can. And they made this fabulous, fabulous brooch. These are special pieces because these are found objects that you get from a dump site or from a trash can, and they make it into this modern, beautiful art. It's sculptural that you can wear. Another one of my special finds is this Etruscan bracelet. This is really, really beautiful bracelet. I just think it's stunning. This is a bangle, it doesn't open, but these are from made in the likeness of antiquity jewelry that they found in tombstones of very, very wealthy and rich kings and queens. It's just stunningly beautiful. In fact, I just think it's so fabulous. I'm gonna just keep this one on. This is an Asian moth motif. And this one's from the Alva Museum. This Alva Museum is not in New York. I believe it's in Florida. I've never been to the museum, but I recently snagged this for $3. And I knew that it was from the Alva Museum because of the motif. I've seen this piece before. It's supposed to come with a very simple chain latch against these two loops. Chain is missing, it's gone, but I still thought the motif was just beautiful, and for a couple of dollars, I thought it was a great find. A few years back, I worked for the wine business, and so I worked for in a winery. And so when I saw this bracelet, I snagged it. This bracelet has beautiful grape and grapevine motifs with stars, and in the middle is a bunch of grapes. And so I've never worn it, but I still think it's fabulous, and it has this nice little catchy hinge, and it looks really fabulous on. Metropolitan Museum of Art. That's where this piece is from. This is a bracelet that I showed in my vintage costume jewelry inspired by cats. I'm a crazy cat lover, and so I buy things that have cat motifs all the time, and this was one of the bracelets that I found, and it was from the Museum of Fine Art, MFA, and it is fine. If you can feel the weight of this bracelet, you would know that it's a high quality bracelet. This, I'll show you the little cat that's sleeping, and it's like a little tiny sculpture. It is so intricately detailed. And then you have a cat playing a ball, you have yarn, and all of these little charms are so beautifully crafted. And then you have a cat ready to pounce, and then you have this cat setting up very regally. And this is such a beautiful bracelet. I love the weight of it. I love that it has that 24 karat gold look to it. And most importantly, I love that it has cat motif, which is my favorite. So to step away a little bit from the costume jewelry, I wanted to bring you over to some of this beautiful fashions from the Museum of Metropolitan Art. And this is a beautiful poncho. It's made of silk. Some of you might recognize it from the video I did on museum pieces. I actually wore this, but this is such a beautiful, beautiful poncho. And I'll read you a little bit about what was on the tag, which I still have. I purchased this at the thrift store for about $5 or $6. So I was just excited to be able to get this flowing silk sheer poncho. This poncho came from a book of decorative patterns in the museum's collection. The original volume, printed by means of color lithograph, was designed by Eugene Samuel Grasset, French-born in Switzerland from 1841 to 1917. And isn't that gorgeous? And this here is a stunning, stunning scarf. And if you could believe this, I purchased this scarf for $2.49 yesterday. My girlfriend and I, Suki, went to the thrift store, and I only bought a couple of items, but this was one of them that I purchased. I was so excited about this because this one came from the Smithsonian Museum, and it has a motif of Tiffany stained glass window. And look how gorgeous this is. So imagine how excited knowing that I was going to do this video today, and I find this scarf. So I knew I had to do some fashion into this video because of that. And it says the Smithsonian Institute 1995. And when you look for these scarves at the thrift store, always look for these hand rolled edges. That's how you can tell a good quality scarf from a not good quality scarf. This will never ever lose its appeal because everybody for decades have loved the Tiffany stained glass. So I let my hair down for this segment of the video because I'm just really excited to show you these last three pieces, which happen to be my favorite three pieces of the entire museum piece collection. This first piece here is so super duper fabulous. And when I first purchased this piece, I didn't even know it was a museum piece. And in fact, I didn't know it was a museum piece for months. But I looked at it and I just knew that it was the highest quality. And I couldn't imagine that it did not have a mark. I looked and looked at each and every one of these little flowers until I finally found it. And it took me several times looking at this piece for me to even see that it was a museum, Metropolitan Museum of Art necklace, sterling silver. And it's done in the chrysanthemum motif. Now, chrysanthemums are really, really popular in the Japanese culture. It is such a revered flower. It's a flower that blooms in autumn, and it's a flower that is so revered that there are shows and prizes dedicated to chrysanthemums. And chrysanthemums come in all different types of colors, shapes, designs, styles, and there's prizes, big prizes, and bragging rights to who can come up with the best chrysanthemum. I would highly suggest you look into it because the Japanese cultured chrysanthemums are so incredibly beautiful. The palm of the flower can be as big as a head. And then it has these beautiful tendrils that sort of cascade away from it. And to get it to be trained for it to do that takes a technique that people take 50 years to perfect. And they have these specially designed tools. Some chrysanthemums are known to curve upwards, and they're curving upwards and they have to be trained that way. It doesn't happen naturally. And so they spend hours and hours and days in order for them to create this beautiful chrysanthemum that where its petals go up to the sky. They are in different colors, in white, yellow, pink. There's chrysanthemums that look like spiders where these long tendrils are coming out. So these chrysanthemums come in all different colors and shape. And now it's to the point where they have these special greenhouses because of the demand of chrysanthemums being so huge that they need them year round. So these greenhouses are designed to cultivate chrysanthemums all times of the year. Imagine this beautiful necklace made with all the different varieties of chrysanthemums that are out there. I tried to do research on this piece and I can't seem to find this piece anywhere on the internet. So if anybody knows of this piece and maybe some more history and a little bit more of a story about this piece than what I'm already putting on it, please let me know. Now, this piece here is another Japanese piece. This piece came from the Alva Museum in Florida. And I don't know if any one of you can figure out what this is. This is actually a replica of the samurai sword Tsuba. So if you don't know what a Tsuba, and I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the part of the samurai sword that is called a handguard. Here is a sword that I purchased from the thrift store a few months back. I was so excited to get this, and I think I paid $19 for it. But look at that cloisonne. It's just stunning. And I'm actually going to give this to my brother, who will be coming here in a few months. And so when he gets here, I'll be handing this off to him. So this is a practice sword. And as you can see, it has this thing that opens up like this. And it's made to practice. So it's not sharp. So I don't suggest anyone do what I'm doing with a real sword. But the Tsuba is this portion right here. This is the Tsuba part. So if you can imagine, you take this Tsuba and you place it right here. The sword would go right in here like that, and it's supposed to guard your hand from sliding forward. So this Tsuba is actually from a replica of a samurai sword, and there are people in Japan and around the country that collect this sort of thing. And I'm so happy and fortunate to get it on a necklace that I can wear around my neck. It is so stunningly beautiful. The samurais would carry their swords as part of their uniform. Now, towards the end of the dynasty, and I don't remember, I think it's the Edo dynasty, but I'm not 100% sure about that. The samurais would wear their swords as part of their uniforms, and they would carry them on their side. And they never really used them during that time for actual combat. It was more part of what they would routinely wear. For example, you can say that it's similar to an American gentleman going to work with his tie. You wouldn't see him go into his job, at least back in the Mad Men days, without a tie. Well, the Japanese warriors wouldn't wear their uniform without their swords. So these swords are so beautifully made, are literally like pieces of jewelry. They have stones in them, they have carvings, they're made with very, very special materials. And in fact, some of these Tsubas are made with radish as part of the process. So imagine this being dipped in radish to get a certain patination of these Tsubas that are all in black. You have to check out those videos. They're just stunningly beautiful. Now, this one is in the chrysanthemum motif. Just as I showed you with the other necklace, the Japanese necklace. So these chrysanthemums are really revered in the Japanese culture. One of the things about jewelry that I find fascinating is that you're able to do the historical background. It leads you down a rabbit hole. And so for me to learn a little bit more about Japanese culture and about samurais and about the chrysanthemums is just really such a fascinating thing for me. So I'm so happy to have this one in my collection. The piece of resistance of my entire museum collection is this Nephrite Jade necklace. Now, I don't think this is jade, although it has that celadon color that is just phenomenal in the Asian culture. I think this is nephrite. If you were to feel this in your hands, besides the weight of it, what you're going to feel is the coolness of it. And the coolness comes from the natural stone. And that's why I think these are nephrites. Or maybe it could be jade. If anybody out there knows which one it is, please let me know. But this necklace is amazing. It's so stunningly beautiful. And this one is from MMA, so the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And what I found fascinating about this necklace, and I didn't realize this until recently, and that is that these middle pieces are actually miniature Tsubas. And so it's a miniature version of this. So this is the mama and this is the baby. And so when I first purchased this necklace several years ago, I didn't know what a zuba was. I just thought it was a beautiful, interesting design. And now I can speak on the zuba part of it, which is the sword. And I could probably identify it more as Japanese instead of Chinese or some other Asian culture. I know that this is Japanese. And the other thing about this is that, again, just like the other zuba that I showed you and the previous Japanese silver necklace with the chrysanthemums, this has a lot of chrysanthemum motifs. But this also has this beautiful, beautiful crane motif. Now, cranes are very special birds in Japanese culture. And they're very symbolic birds because they are known to mate for life. Once one crane bird meets another crane bird and they mate for the rest of their lives. And so cranes are very, very popular and symbolic in wedding ceremonies. You see them in beautiful kimonos. You see them in the oboes. You see them as part of the design of Japanese weddings because of the faithfulness the cranes have to each other. And I just love that idea. And so this is just a fabulous necklace. I'm so happy and proud to have this in my collection. That, my friends, is my vintage costume jewelry from the museum. And don't you worry, I have one more video that I'm going to create on my museum pieces because I guess I didn't realize until I produced these videos how much museum pieces mean to me. Some of them I sought out specifically, and some of them just came to me and I didn't know it because of my attraction to the museums growing up here in New York City. I just want to thank you all for taking this journey with me. Thank you so much for being a part of my videos. My subscribership has been increasing steadily, and that gets me really excited because it takes me a bit to put these together, and it's nice to see some people really appreciate them and want to see them, and just gives me that drive and that energy to produce more of them for you. So thank you so much. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to leave me a comment because I answer every single comment that anyone leaves me. And I get so excited because I'm getting comments from people in Honduras, people in Paris, people in Oklahoma, people from all over the states and all over the world. I got people from Spain, and I have someone from Australia, and they all write to me, and that just makes me so excited. So happy to be able to do this. Thank you so much. Y con mucho amor. Ciao.